Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jabaki, and if this is the first time you're joining us on this channel, you are so welcome. So sorry about the delay. We had some few technical issues. So today we just want to look at Australian visas. We would like to look at Australian visas and the requirements and documents that you need. Many times when we are traveling to a different country, there is a specific visa that you may need to travel to that country. So today we know that there are people who are interested in going to Australia. So we just want to share that information, the documents that you will need, the requirements that you need to meet before you are granted those visas. So we are just going to look at all of that today. And I have a special guest with me here today who is going to take us through all of these tidbits here and there. So stay right here with me and don't forget to subscribe if they are not yet done so. So I welcome my guest. She'll introduce herself. She lives in Australia, so she'll introduce herself and she will share her experiences with us and also what she knows about the visas that you need in order to go to Australia. So you're welcome, Uche.
Hi, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me. And my name is Uche. Sorry, I need to move forward very well. So, my name is Uche. I'm a Nigerian and I live in Australia. My channel name is Niger Mom in Australia. And in
Okay.
my channel, I talk about life experience as a skilled migrant living in Australia. And I also give tips, my personal tips on how you can move to Australia from anywhere you are, because I believe in do it yourself.
Mhm.
So we did all the process ourselves without using any agent. So I will share my personal tips and all about how you can actually migrate to Australia. So thank you for having me in your channel. I
Thank you so
appreciate.
very much for coming over. Yeah, so first of all, I'd like to know, is it difficult to get an Australian visa? Because I know that some countries, the rules are quite, tough. So is it the same with Australia?
Okay. Some people would say that it's tough, while some people would say it's easy,
Mhm.
depending on the kind of visa you're coming to Australia with. If you're coming as a tourist, it's a bit easier to get Australian visa. Also, depending on the passport you're using, like if you're coming from the UK, the US, Canada, it will be easy. All you need to do is just put up a mail, send some few documents, and your visa can be granted within a day to 30 days. But if you're coming from some other countries as well, it will take a little bit of time, especially with this pandemic now. So some visas are taking a little bit time to approve. Then when it comes to skilled immigration pathway, that's another level because there is other protocols and other things you need to do. So that one takes a little bit of time. Employer's visa, you can get it as 30 days to 1 year, depending on how fast the whole thing goes. Yeah, so each visa has different processing time. That's what I could say. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. So, what are some of the visas? So, we would first of all look at the various visa types. If I want to come to Australia, what are the various different types of visas that I could come to Australia with?
Okay. Um, Australia has various visas short, they named it with numbers, but
Right.
the three, there are some that are very, very unique and everybody knows it. That's their skilled immigration pathway visa, which they call 189, 190, and 491, right? So the same way Canada has their own, New Zealand has, Australia also have something like that. I will still go into details
Okay.
with this visa, and they are the three most popular visa in Australia. So
Oh,
for the 189 is like federal visa for Canada. It gives you the right to live, work, study in Australia. It's a permanent resident visa for anybody that wants to come to Australia, and you can live in any city. You understand? And before I go ahead with this, I want to point out that Australia's skilled immigration pathway is a point based pathway. That means there are some points you need to have for you to be eligible first to be able to apply for any of the skilled immigration
yeah,
visas.
just like the
So, and
UK, we
those
also have.
points, yes, so those points join together with the age, your English language test, your experience, your education background, whether you're married or single. So for each one, there is a point you need to have, and the minimum point is 65.
Okay.
65 is what you will get, and you can say, okay, yes, I am actually eligible to try Australian skilled immigration pathway. So I would try for people that would want to come, I will explain the points, how it goes. So if you're 18 to 24 years, you're going to, as per age, you will be getting 25 points for age. Then
Okay.
if you're 25 to 32 years, you'll be getting 30 points for age.
Mm-hmm.
If you're 33 years to 39 years, it brings you back to 25 points again. Then if you're 40 to 44 years, you will get 15 points for age. Once you're 45 years, you cannot apply for Australia's skilled immigration pathway. However, if you can get an employer to sponsor you, any employer's sponsored visa, they don't do anything about age. You can be 50, as long as you got an employer to employ you, you are good to go. So now that I have talked about the age, you also talk about the English proficiency. So
Okay.
some occupations in the skilled list would tell you to have a proficiency in English, while some would ask you for competent. But if you're going to apply for the visa, the Home Affairs are the immigration, would want you to have at least competent. So depending on your occupation, if you have 6 in all band, you have competent, which doesn't give you any mark for English. And if you have 7 in all band, you have proficiency, which is 10 points. And if you have 8 in all band, that's for people that want to write IELTS. And that brings me again to the English. Australia allows you to do either TOEFL. There's
Mm-hmm.
another one that everybody prefers because they feel they get their desired score easily, which is called Pearson Test of English.
Okay.
The short form of it is PTE. It's a computer-based test. One thing I like about this is you write it today and your result will be out within 5 days.
Okay.
You understand? Unlike
Mm-hmm.
some that will take like 2 weeks or yeah. So there are various English tests you can write, but the three most common one is TOEFL, Pearson Test of English, and IELTS. Yeah. So with IELTS 8 in IELTS, which is superior, is 79 in PTE. So depending on what you score, that's for that one. And for your work experience, if you have less than 3 years work experience, you don't have any score. Then if you have 3 to 5 years, you get 5 years experience. You have 5 points. If you have 5 years to 7 years plus, you have 10 points. And anything from 8 years and above, you have 15 points for your experience.
Right.
Then here comes for education now. One thing with Australia is that Australian government does not regard all universities in Africa. Let me use Nigeria because I'm from Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
to the level of their own education qualification. They could have Australian qualification framework. So there are some universities, I'm using my country, Nigeria, because that's the one that I am 100% sure of. So if
Okay.
you're watching from anywhere and you need to check out what is the education qualification of your country with Australia. So for a Nigerian person trying to assess their education qualification, there are some universities that Australian education qualifies as real bachelor's degree. And they
Okay.
are just few because they have what they call Taiwan universities and Tai 2 universities. Taiwan University is like a higher cadre, and Tai 2 universities is on a lower cadre. So in Nigeria, schools like University of Lagos, University of Ibadan, University of Ile-Ife, and University of Mina. I think they are the four universities that if you go to this university and assess your education credentials, you will be regarded as bachelor's degree and you will get 15 points for
Okay.
that. Let's say you went to other federal university or state university and you studied for 5 years, you will still get your 15 points because you studied for 5 years. So it qualifies you as a bachelor's degree holder. If you
Okay.
go to any of the schools that I did not mention, if you go to any other schools that I did not mention and you studied for 4 years, they will give you what they call associate degree. It
Okay.
affected me during my own time. I went to a federal university and I studied for 4 years. But because my uni was not among the Taiwan universities that they are looking out for, I got a positive assessment, yes, but it was under associate degree, which gave
Okay.
me 10 points for my education qualification. If you have a diploma or what we call national what do they call it, HND, higher national diploma in Nigeria as well, that's or you have a trade qualification for 3 years, you are also qualified under associate degree, which will also give you 10 points. Then
Okay.
if you have masters, you get 20 points. You have a doctorate degree, you get 20 points as well. So it's according to
Okay.
your education qualification that would determine what they would give you. And
Okay.
one thing again I would say is if you want to do the point test base, you must have a positive assessment from your assessing body. First of all, you have to check that you're eligible. Then you have to assess all your credentials and they ask your school to send it to them. That's the assessing bodies. There are various assessing bodies in Australia. I will still get to that. For
Okay.
you to get a positive outcome, what you studied in school has to be closely related to what you're doing. So you
Okay.
cannot study accounting and you're a teacher in a school and want to assess as an accountant. You're going to get automatic uh, assessment. So what you studied in school has to be closely related to what you're doing. Yeah.
Okay.
So another thing I would add for the point based is if you're single, you get automatic 10 points from the home affairs. If you're married, your spouse, you're married or your de facto partner, that's if you're living with someone and you guys have been dating for a very long time, there are evidence to show that he or she is your de facto partner and you want to add them in your application, they allow that. So if you're
Okay.
coming with either your de facto partner or your spouse can actually give you a point, or your de facto partner can actually give you a point. Is
Okay.
either the person go back and do an assessment if their occupation is in the shortage list. The person has to do assessment and get a positive assessment, write English tests and get at least competent in English to give you 10 points. Some
Right.
people will look at the financial expenses and rather do just the English test instead of going to assess their partner's qualification, that would give you just 5 points to add to whatever point you have. At the end of the day, what they need you to have is 65 points. At least with that 65 points, you know you're qualified to apply if your occupation is in the shortage lists.
Okay.
I hope I'm not talking too much. This is actually,
Right.
yeah,
So,
yeah, making
apart from
sense.
the points, apart from the points, what else do you need to have? If you meet
Okay.
all of, yeah, that's
Yeah, the
criteria.
first thing is for you to get all these points, because these are the points that will give you that 65. If you check all the points that you don't have it, you cannot go anywhere. You
Okay.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So without the points that you are 45 years, you know already that for skilled immigration pathway, you cannot apply for that. So it's good you check all of them. So once you have done that,
Mm-hmm.
next thing you need to do is check for your occupation to be sure that your occupation is an Australian shortage list. Every year they change it, they remove some, they add some. One thing with Australia is that they change their policy a lot. You might see A today, and before you say, hey, they have changed it again. So that brings me to, once you have seen your occupation, what next to do? Which visa am I applying for, right?
Yeah.
So for the skilled immigration pathway, like I said, there are three popular ones that everybody come with. It's called 189, 190, and 491. So I would
Yeah.
break it down. And 189 is an independent visa, which I told you before that it's a federal visa that allows you live anywhere in Australia. It's a permanent residency visa. Once you have that, you also get benefits from Australian governments like childcare, Medicare, and every other thing. You can live from one state to another. You don't have any obligation for any state. However, not all occupations are in this 189 occupation list. It's people like nurses, doctors, engineers, and all that that could actually apply, and some other occupations. So if your occupation is not on the 189 list, then you can go to 190. 190 is called the state sponsorship visa, whereby a particular state in Australia would nominate you. Your obligation is to live in that state and work in that state for 2 years, right? You
Mm-hmm.
cannot move from, let's say, I live in Queensland, and they sponsored my visa, and I have a sister in Victoria. I cannot move to my sister's house in Victoria because I am obligated to live in Queensland for 2 years. Yes, I can visit my sister, but I would not be able to um, live and work there. Yes. So if they nominate you, they are going to give you extra 5 points to
Okay.
add to the 65. So it's good sometimes to go through states because of the extra benefit you will get. Let's assume that I'm on 60 points and I really need extra points, and my spouse has given me two and I'm still on 60. If I go through 190 state sponsorship visa, I will get 15 points if I get invitation to apply from them.
Okay.
Yeah, and this state sponsorship visa is also permanent residence, which gives you all the benefits that 189 would give you. And their processing time is actually quite faster now. From 3 months to 12 months, you
Mm-hmm.
would get your visa. So the third one that is very common that Australian government is actually pushing very well right now because they want to declutter the metropolitan is the regional state sponsorship visa called 491. So this visa is not a permanent residency visa, but it allows you to come to Australia to live, work, and study in a regional area for 5 years. This
Okay.
visa also has some conditions, and the condition is what I just mentioned: live in the regional area of Australia, work in the regional area of Australia for at least 3 years, make up to 55,000 Australian dollars a year. It doesn't matter the job. You can be a cleaner, you can do cleaning job, Uber job, and whatever. But as long as you made up to 53,000 to 55,000 Australian dollars a year, you are qualified to apply for permanent residency after that 3 years.
Okay.
So it's like a pathway to permanent residence. So this
Right.
491 visa also give you what we call Medicare. So Medicare is Australian uh, Medicare scheme. You understand? It's like a card that allows you to access government hospitals in Australia. Normally, most people that have it is permanent residents, citizens, and some visas. Not all visas get this Medicare card. Yeah. So, but this 491 also gives you that. That's another token that they added to it. So, to make people to come to Australia, live in the regional area, and you have that. And the juicy part with this too is this regional visa 491 gives you 15 points.
Wow.
So if age is not on your side, let's say you are 40, you've done all your points, you've gotten your superior in English, and you still don't have up to 65 points, you're like 50 points, you can go with the visa 491. If the regional states nominate you, they would add 15 points to you. Or if you have a family member living in the regional area as well, they can actually nominate you for family visa 491 as well, and they would also give you 15 points. Although most people go through the state sponsorship than the family own. So these are the three most common pathways to Australian skilled immigration that a lot of people use. So once, okay,
All right. So I have a
you can
question.
go ahead and ask.
Yes. So what if you are coming with your kids? Do they also need to
Okay.
meet some criteria if you're coming with children?
For your children, no, they are your independent, they are dependent, and even your let's say you're the one you're the one that the occupation is on the list. Your husband and your children will come in as your dependents. They don't need to. Even the one I said that your husband need to do the positive assessment is if you don't have enough points. That is
Okay.
where he or she comes in. If you can
Right.
gather all the points all by yourself, there is nothing for your spouse to do. Your
Okay.
children is pack their bag and come along with them. They don't need to do anything. The only thing they need to do is when you've gotten to your invitation to apply and all that, they will tell you to do some medicals that as a family, all of you would do it together. And making sure that everything is okay, and that's it. The children doesn't need to start writing any exam or start doing anything, not at all. So once you have checked your point test, you've seen that you have an occupation in the occupation list, next thing to do is to check your assessing body. There are various assessing bodies in Australia that assess different occupations. I don't have them off head. I will just look at, I know I wrote it somewhere, so I can just
Okay.
call out some. This would help some people to have an idea of where to go to do the
Okay.
assessment and all that. Although I didn't write all the assessing bodies because they're up to 20, but I wrote the common ones that people do a lot, like Vitassess is 80% the assessing body assessing general occupations like customer service, insurance, and some other things like that. Vitassess is the assessing body for that. TRA, that's Trade Recognition Australia. It's for tradies. If you're a tailor, if you're a chef, if you're a cook, if you're a mechanic, if you're an electrical engineer, TRA is for you for assessment. So you can go ahead and send your transcript, your certificate, and they will go ahead and do the needful. Engineering Australia is for engineers. CPAA, that's CPA, is for accountants. I think accountants, they have two different assessing bodies. Some people say one is better than the other one. So, hey, they should go ahead and read about it. They have AITSL. They are the ones assessing for teachers. They have AIM, those ones are for managers. So if you're a manager, a financial institution manager, these are for you. They have ACWA. These are for people that are disability support workers, welfare center managers, community service, youth workers. ACWA is the assessing body. And ACS is for anything computer science, and so on and so forth. So each assessing body have what they do. So
Okay.
next step is check the assessing body, know if you need to write English. I know for sure that VitaSess will not ask you to write English to assess your credentials, while some would ask you to have English tests ready before you could assess with them, especially for the teachers. I think Engineering Australia too, they do. So it's when you go to their website, you will find out if, okay, what are the English tests I need to write? Do I need to do the general or academy? But one thing I always preach about the Pearson test of English, that is, you can use it for across all band. You can use it for your assessment, and you can also use it for your visa, because it's an academy Pearson test of English. So it covers all round. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So some assessing body will tell you to do general, like I said, and some will tell you to write academic for it. So you check your assessing body, check their requirements. I would use VitaSess to give an example. For VitaSess, what they need from you is to send your transcripts by yourself or through school, but your certificate would come from your, sorry, I made a mistake with that. Your transcript will come from your school direct to them, and your certificate you can forward by yourself through their website. You need a pay slip. If you're going to claim, let's say, like 5 years experience, you need to at least give 3 payslip per year for that 5 years. You need to get a reference letter. They don't really ask that it must be from human capital. They will tell you that's human resources. They will tell you to get a reference letter from your direct boss that you're working with, showing how much you earn when you joined the organization and your job functions, and a reasonable signature in case if they want to contact the person. They will ask you for that. They will ask either your tax or your statement of account, whichever
Mm-hmm.
one you want to give them. And of course, your identification, that's your passport. So these are the things you actually need for your assessment, which I believe it should still be the same thing for other assessing bodies, apart from the English that I said. Some
Mm-hmm.
people might ask you for that, and some will tell you to just do your assessment. So once you get a positive assessment from your assessing body, the next thing you need to do by that time, if your assessing body didn't ask you for English, you should be writing English test, because you need it to go ahead with the next step. So once you have your positive assessment, you would have already checked the states that are nominating your occupation, check their requirements, because one thing is for the Home Affairs to give you this specific things that you need to get, that's your age, your qualification, and everything has to be in order. Some states too would have their own personal requirements that they need from you. Not all states in Australia will ask you for proof of fund. I think it's just few, 2 or 3 states ask for
Okay.
proof of fund. The rest doesn't need proof of fund from you. Some will tell you to do a statement of purpose, why you want to live in their state and all that. Some other states too would ask you to have show that you're employable. They didn't
So,
really want you to get, if you get a job, fine, but show them that you have started researching for job and you have started applying for jobs. So you need to get those positive or negative feedback you get from your employers to add up to what you're going to give them. So if you check the state that is nominating your occupation, check what they need from you, gather all the points. So once your assessment is ready, you apply to what we call skill select.
Mm-hmm.
What you're going to do is called expression of interest. You don't pay for that. It's
Right.
just for you to go online, put in your details. That's where your family, everything comes in, because they will ask you, okay, how many people is coming with you? What is your job experience from 10 years? Where have you lived and all that? You fill up all the necessary things you need to fill. Then you do your expression of interest, and as well go to the state open and do the same. So if the state accepts you, you get what we call invitation to apply.
Mm-hmm.
In a short, it's called ITA, ITA. So
Okay.
once you get that, you have 60 days to apply for your visa. And Australian visa for skilled immigration, whether you're going through 189, 190, or 491, is 4,250 per applicant. So you times it, yeah, per primary. Sorry, for the primary applicant, you pay 4,250, and for the dependent, as like said, the spouse, you pay half of that. The kids, half of what the spouse paid, according
Mm-hmm.
to that. And once you've applied, you wait for your turn. And
Yeah.
yeah, so these are like the process of the skilled immigration pathway.
Okay. So is this something that you would be able to go online and, fill out the form and go through all the process yourself? Because we've had instances where people have been, they get agents who take them through all that. So I just want to know, can you do it yourself without going through an
Yes,
agent?
you're looking at someone that did all this
Right.
herself, because everything I'm saying is
Mm-hmm.
what we did ourselves. I'm the main applicant when we came because my husband was busy and we couldn't also see his occupation on the list. So I decided to be the one. So whatever I'm sharing here is what I have been through. One thing
Okay.
with people is that people don't have time to start researching, except if you have a complicated, as in, what will I call it, a complicated matter, then
Mm-hmm.
you can ask an agent to actually help you because you can't do it all by yourself, or you're too busy with your job and you don't want to get stressed. Then, yeah, you can use an agent. But if you really want to, because one thing with agents is that you don't have the right to your application. You're not going to see anything. You don't know what they are putting in there. And the thing is also is you're the one going to your school to get your transcript and
Mm-hmm.
now tell the agent I have done that. You're the one going to get the tax. You're the one going to run around and do everything. So what is agent doing for you? Agent is only helping you to type and send while you have actually done the hard
Mm-hmm.
job. So to
Right.
me, people should start researching. All I'm telling you is online. And there are a lot of groups now that are into all this immigration thing. And there are
Mm-hmm.
some of our people from my sets that are in Australia. Some have what do they call it? Some, what do they call this thing, social media stuff, where they still talk about how you can come to Australia. They have WhatsApp group that you can, a lot of places where you can join a group and share your experience, share what you're going through, and you see someone to advise you. You understand? And it will also save you some money because you need
Yeah.
all the money you have to locate to a new
Yeah.
country. So yes, you can do it yourself. A lots of people that I know that came through skilled immigration pathway in Australia did it
Mhm.
by themselves. Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, that's great. So, apart from the skilled immigration pathway, which other pathway can we look at? Yeah.
There are right now, due to the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic as well, Australian government have started allowing people, since we opened the border as well. There's the in thing now is the 482 and 186 employers visa.
Okay.
So it's whereby an employer bringing a skilled worker from overseas, depending wherever you are. If you have the qualification and the experience, they will be the one to sponsor you. So it's an in thing in Australia now, and the visa is also shorter. For 482, you will get it within 9 months, depending on how fast the employer is. So if you want to really come to Australia and you don't want to come in through the skilled immigration pathway, employer's visa is another way you can actually migrate to Australia. And like I said, 482 employer's visa and 186 employer's visa is the in thing now. The difference between the two is the 482 is called the temporal skilled shortage visa. And the one I'm actually talking about, because it has three streams. It has the shortage stream, it has the medium term stream, and it has the labor stream. The labor stream is for people that the company that would sponsor them have an agreement with the labor agreement. So that one is a long thing.
Mm-hmm.
The shortage stream is mostly for people living in Australia. So I really don't want to talk much about it since we are focusing on people outside Australia that want to come to Australia. So if you want to come to Australia, the one you should be looking out for the 482 is the medium term stream. So that one allows you to live in Australia and work in Australia with your family for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and an employer must sponsor you for that. So,
Okay.
and there are places you can go ahead and search for a job or search for an employer to sponsor you. The most common app that I love people to use is Seek. It's in UK as well. That's seek.com.
Okay.
So when you go to seek.com, you can put up your resume and check out what they have for state Australia sponsorship visa. So this 482 does not give you a permanent resident. However, you would live in Australia for 4 years. And after 4 years, if you could prove yourself that you're good in what you're doing, your employer, there's a possibility that the employer might want to retain you. And from there, it would apply for permanent residence for you. And for you to also apply for this, for an employer to see you and take you for this 482 visa, you must have like up to 3 years experience,
Mm-hmm.
have a skill in that occupation that you are going to go for, and do your assessment as well. Like I said, it's very fast. People are using it. I've seen one or two people that came with it from UK, from Nigeria as well, that moved with this 482 visa. So go ahead, check most of Australian job app. There are seek.com, there is indeed.com, there is
Mm-hmm.
Jora, that's Gora, and even your LinkedIn accounts. You can go and put up your resume and see if an employer will find you. Then the second one I'm talking about that is really lucrative now that people are coming with too is the 186 employer sponsored visa. This one is a permanent resident immediately. So if you get an employer that is willing to give you that, you are lucky. Most employers will offer you the 482, but not the 186. But if you
Okay.
have opportunity to get 186, I will tell you to use the 186 to come in instead of the 482. But if you don't have any option, as long as you want to live wherever you are in the country, 482 is still your best bet too. Yeah.
All right. Okay. That's great.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So, please, I would like our viewers, if you have any question, just put it in the box, and then we would answer that for you. So we would look at the visitor's visa too, and if someone
Okay.
wants to just come over to spend some time over there, how does it work? Do you need letter, of invitation and all that? Just let us know a little about that.
Okay. Visitors visa in Australia is quite easy now. After the pandemic, like I said, they opened to for everybody. So there are various visitors visa. I'm coming, please. Okay. Sorry about the breaking transmission. My kids were trying to, babies. Okay. So there are various visitors visa in Australia with the same subclass, this, that, and all that. But I'm going to focus on the tourist visa because that's the most common one that people use in coming to Australia. So they have child visa, they have asylum, they have refugee, they have medicals, business. But business, medicals, and tourists have the same visa subclass called 600, and family as well have the same visa called subclass 600. So, in case if someone wants to go to the website of Australian immigration, which is Home Affairs, you are looking for visa 600, then you will see the different categories and know the one you want to pick. So for visitors visa, you just need to pay $150. Yeah. Sorry, I wrote it in the book to also look around. $150 to apply. You can just go to the website and check if you're eligible. What do they mean to be eligible? To be sure that you're genuinely coming to Australia as a tourist, or to go for a cruise, or to visit someone, maybe a family or friend, or you're coming for a mugo. If it's a family person, a mugo in Nigeria, it's when a mom gives birth and the mother comes
Okay,
to take care
right. Mm-hmm.
of the baby. Yes, if you're coming with that. So yeah, be that. And Australian visitors visa does not allow you to work.
Okay.
Yes, you cannot work with Australian visitors visa. If you're coming from for medicals or for business, you have to state you're doing that. You cannot come in with a tourist visa and plan to go for medicals. They will bundle you back home immediately. So yes, and the thing with not working, because most people think, oh, let me get a visitor's visa and come and hide. I always tell people that Australia is not like the other country we know that once you enter, nobody cares if you're in. Even if you're a farmer in Australia, you're looking for a farming job in Australia, they will ask you for your visa type. And another thing is Australia doesn't give you, they don't stamp your visa in your passport. It's an e-visa that we give.
Okay.
And you can always confirm your visa online called Vivo,
Okay.
VEVO. I'm just
Right.
putting it out here for some people because there are a lot of agents, especially back home, that will tell
Mm-hmm.
you, don't worry, we'll get you a work visa. The employee will do this one, give you a house. Just check your visa online in VEVO. If you cannot find it there, know that they just gave you a wrong visa. So for you, if you apply for Australian visa, it takes 1 day to 37 days to come out. However, since the pandemic, things change. Some will take longer than that or not. So, as an individual coming or as a family coming, there are some things too that you need to do to show that you are, like I said, genuinely coming to Australia for a tourist or a cruise or to visit a friend. So, you need to show that you're working back home. At least they ask that you need to prove that you're working back home or you have a business. So if you're working back home, your company has to send something like a letter that, oh, you went for a holiday and you're coming back to resume your job. If you are a business owner, you need to show your audited tax returns and all that to show that you actually have a company that you're going back to. If you're married, you need to show that you have a family back home that is waiting for you, that you're going back to, or you have a house that would something that would make you that you're going back to your country. You're coming as a student just for visiting. You need to show your like your school what do they call it? Something from your school to show that you're a student, that you would
Okay.
actually go back to your country to continue with your studies. Then for workers, you also need to show your pay slip. Yeah, you have to show your pay slip for some like 3 months. You can also show your statement of account for 3 months to show that you are actually comfortable and you can sponsor yourself for the trip you are going for. If someone is inviting you over under visitors visa, let's say our parents or a friend is coming for a visit, and you're the one, like me now, telling you to come and visit me, I have to also send you a letter of invitation stating that, oh, I am inviting you over. And if you're going to come to my house to live for the time being, let's say for a week or two that I invited you, and I stated all that, because I'm also going to state what you're going to be doing in Australia when you arrive. I would also put my statement of account and my pay slip to show that I am working and I am comfortable enough to feed myself and also feed you when you arrive. Yeah. So these are the things you need to show. And Australia would also tell you to do a biometrics and some health checks for your visitor's visa. So some people go ahead and do it on time, while some people wait till they apply for the visa and their case officers, we call it CO, asks you for the health check, then they can go ahead and do it. And there are few places, few hospitals that Australia use. So depending on the country where you're coming from, will determine the hospital where you're going to do your health check. They would also ask you for your character check, which is police report. So you just go to any nearby police and get a police report. These are the documents you need to add up and apply for your visa. The truth is, you really don't need an agent to apply for a visitor's visa if you can prove all these things that I have mentioned here. You have a return ticket for the day when you're leaving. If you don't have anyone in Australia, you show that you have booked a hotel or motel or Airbnb, just a reasonable thing to show that you're genuinely coming to Australia. And visitors visa in Australia actually allows you to do some part-time training for like 3 months, not more than 3 months training. So while you're in Australia, you can actually do some certifications that
Okay.
can help you when you go back. You add it to whatever it is that you are doing in your country. So that's it for visitors visa in Australia.
Okay, all right. So, do you also need to get insurance with all
Yes,
the
I missed that
visas?
out. Of course, you need insurance. Now that you even mentioned it, for the 482 visa as well, that's the employer's visa, you would need to do an insurance. It's a mandatory thing to have an insurance for you to come in as an employee's visa. Yeah. So for visitors visa too, you need an insurance too. You need a health insurance to for the number of days that you are coming. You need to be, yeah, have a health insurance for that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So over here in the UK, we have something called a health surcharge for
Yes.
those who are going to stay here for more than 6 months. So Australia, do you
Yeah.
have any other thing like that? Any,
No, we don't.
payments like that?
The only healthcare thing we have is the Medicare scheme that we have, and
Okay.
visitors or an employer's visa cannot have that, except if you come here with your health insurance and you want to also add Australian health insurance package for your thing because you're living here, then you can get it. There are a lot of providers here that you can do a 1 week or 2 weeks just to cover yourself in case of anything. Yeah. But we don't have any health for short term, yeah, visitors visa.
All right. Okay. So I want to know the website. If you want to make an application for any of these visas, which website do you go to? I mean, online to do that.
Uh, just check Australian Home Affairs. I would just give me a few minutes, so I will just call it out again for
All
because I don't have it offhand. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have
right.
it.
While she's checking it, if you have any question, you can just type it in the comment box so that she would answer that for you. So just put any questions you have regarding any of the visas that she's spoken about today.
Yeah.
Just let us know so that she would, yeah, help with that.
Okay. So the general Australian website is imi.homeaffairs.gov.au, which is IMMI dot homeaffairs.gov.au. There you will see everything that I have mentioned here, whether you're coming through skilled immigration pathway, whether you're coming through employer's visa, whether you want to seek an asylum, whether you want to come in as backpacker or visiting visa, whatever you need to know about Australia, visas are in this website.
Oh,
Even there, they share some agents because there's something we call Mara agents. They are the
right.
agents recognized in Australia for anybody that wants to use an agent. So here too, they show that, and you have access to actually check the right agents for you because they have their agent numbers shown
Okay.
there. So you that would help you not to just meet anybody and do transaction or
Yeah,
business with
because
them.
yes, because I've heard of several instances where people have been, scammed and all that. You find
Yes,
somebody, yeah.
especially for work visa. I didn't want to talk about the not not employers visa. There's another visa Australia. Like I told you, Australia has a whole lot of visas that you can come in with. So depending on the one that suits which one, there's a backpackers visa where some younger people come in, work in the farm and all that. And there are also work visas that they give to some specific country. Most of our African countries are not there.
Okay.
It's UK, Ireland, and some other places. Almost half of the Europe, because it's a 1 year visa. You come, work for some jobs in like backpacking job and go back to your country. You can come back again after 1 year and do that. So I noticed that a lot of agents back home is using it to cash out on people, and they will
Okay.
tell them, that's why I mentioned that time that, oh, don't worry, the employer will find you a house. Actually, for backpackers and this working holiday visa that I just talked about,
Mhm.
the some of the employers will find them a house because most of these people work in a farm. You understand, they work in the outbacks. So those employers will find them a house or something, 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off, but not to some specific country. So if you're living in an African country, this website I have mentioned too, you can type in
Can you please type
working
it in the?
holiday
Can you?
visa.
Sorry. Can you please type the website? I think some people want to know exactly. You know.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Um, you mean Home Affairs? Okay. So
All
that's the
right.
website for
Okay.
anything you want to know about Australia. So even if you want to come in as a working holiday person, check out. They have listed all the countries that they are
Mhm.
granting visa for. So if you're coming from Nigeria or Ghana or some other places, we are not there. Don't
Mm.
allow any agent to tell you
Right.
that there's
Right.
someone waiting for you at the airport. Yeah.
Mhm.
So another way you can know some agents that are lying is when they didn't mention that you need to go for your medicals. Like I said, if I use Nigeria
Mhm.
as my table of contents for getting some agents. In Nigeria, we have only two hospitals that is approved by the Australian government. They are the
Mhm.
only place you can do medicals. So
Wow.
if an agent just tell you to, oh, just go to any government hospital and do, just run and know that it's a lie.
Mm.
I
Mm.
don't know if I need to mention that before I give them a tip or zip it. So yeah,
Yeah,
but
I think that's very important because I
yeah,
mean,
so
we know that there are a lot of people who definitely want to come to the Western countries, but you find all these agents
yes,
duping them, and it's very worrying. It's very, very worrying.
yes.
So that's why we just want everyone to know, our viewers today, that as much as possible, try to check out the website that she's spoken about today to see,
Yes.
everything they read. And let's try Africans,
Yes.
well, I'm from Ghana.
And
We don't like reading, doing it
we
for
don't
ourselves.
like
Just,
reading
yeah,
and researching. That's the
exactly.
thing.
Researching.
Yes.
And then we
Yeah.
end up being
Reading,
too,
research,
yeah.
because whatever I've said here is based on my experience and
Mm-hmm,
based on research. I'm not an agent. I'm not an
mm-hmm,
Australian agent. So it's
right.
based on research. And
Mm-hmm,
when we were coming to Australia, there's a group that actually helped a whole lot of us. That's where most of us came out from and started the WhatsApp group, the YouTube, just to give back to people that actually need those information. And it doesn't matter because the website is called Naira Land.
okay.
Yes, it's like a group, it's a forum that you can go there, you meet different people. Even though they call it Naira Land, doesn't mean it's only for Nigerian that
Mm-hmm,
is there. So if anybody is interested, they can also search it out and just put Australia skilled immigration requirements Naira Land
mm-hmm,
and find it, join the group, ask questions. The people that would answer you are people like me and you, ghost people that are already in Australia that
mm-hmm,
did all this thing by ourselves
mm-hmm,
would answer you back. Telegram too. There's a wonderful boy from Nigeria too. He came out from the same Naira Land. He started a Telegram group for anybody. It's not just Nigerians as well that are in that Telegram group. A lot of things are happening in Telegram group. You can search it out too and join. So join a lot. Even Canada, they have a lot too for that.
mm-hmm.
UK, the same thing. So
Right.
research whatever we share here. All you need to do is make out the points we've said. Go ahead and do your research. You'll find out that all these things are easy if you research. By the time, instead of you watching Korean movie or Telemundo, just research because you know what you are
Exactly.
actually looking for at the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And if
Yeah.
you try for the first time and you are denied, how long do you have to wait for a certain period before you retry again, or it's
Is
immediate? You
it for
can
the
go
visitor's visa or the visas in general?
the visas in general.
Okay. So for visitors visa, if you they deny you, definitely they will let you know the reason, and
Right.
you go ahead and meet up with the reasons that they have told you. If it's financial or
Mhm.
what or health, you go back and check yourself, treat yourself, and reapply again. They're not going to do anything to you if you
Okay.
reapply.
Mhm.
For employers visa, you keep on pushing. Like I said, not just one employer. You understand? You
Mhm.
try different employers and see the one that would give you what you want. For skilled immigration pathway, if you already have a positive assessment and you are nominated already, is only, I would say, 0.5% that will make them not to give you. It might take longer, but it
Mhm.
will only be 0.5%. And
Right.
that 0.5% is if you put up a false information.
Right.
For example, you said you're working in company ABC. You might be one of the 1% out of 1,000 that they would do a background check. During
Mhm.
my own time in 2015, 16, there are some people in our group that they did a background check. Not that they came all the way from Australia to Nigeria to check, but they use IOM, International Organization for Immigration.
Mm.
They have hospitals in it's a Commonwealth thing. They are
Okay.
the one of the hospitals they use. They should be in UK as well.
Yeah,
They
we
are
have it.
in
Yeah.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yes. So they use them to do the background check for some countries where they are. So there are some of the people that they went to the companies to check if what you actually put up is the truth, and they don't just tell you that, oh, we're not going to give you. They will give you an opportunity. There are some people that they would give what they call NUJ or something to clarify themselves why this is this. So it's you now that will go back to the table. Maybe your boss did not really state what they are supposed to do or something. Yeah. So, but if you're coming through immigration pathway and you have passed the all the process to visa, the chances are very slim, like I said, except if there is a false information, which is one in 200 that happens. Yeah. But for visitors visa, yes, you're free to reapply at any time, as long as they did not ban you for 10 years. If you're not, you get banned, yes, you can always reapply. People's situations change every
Mhm.
day, so you have the right to reapply if need be. Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, so I guess we are almost through. Is there any other thing that you would want to add to this?
There's nothing much, but there's nothing much. We've touched all the angles. Just that I would really want you guys to, if you sincerely want to leave your comfort zone and come to Australia, you need to work for it. It's not bed of roses. You need to. I started my own process, like I mentioned, 2015. There was ups and down, a lot of money going in and out, because this assessment is not that cheap like Canada, that you use like $350 and do your assessment. But Australia, theirs are always on thousands. And
Right.
when I say thousands, Australian dollars, yes. So you need to be sure that this is what you want, work for it, take your time, take it one step at a time, don't rush, pray to God, and you will definitely get there. One thing I love about Australia is it's a multicultural country. We don't discriminate. Yeah, even though it's very far, we don't discriminate. You see a lot of people here. They are laid back country. They are beautiful people. They will go their way to assist you. They are not into, look at me, I'm wearing a Versace or something. They are down to earth kind of people. They take life one step at a time. And one thing that top everything is their minimum wage. They have a wonderful, one of the highest minimum wage in the world. And there are a lot of benefits for you here in Australia. It's not somewhere you go to and it takes you ages to find a job, as long as you're not choosy with the kind of job you want to do. Yes, there are a lot of jobs for anybody. Our minimum wage is $21 as at
Okay.
July this year. It was increased due to the pandemic.
Right.
So yeah,
Oh.
and I can tell you most people don't even earn that. Yeah, depending on the sector you're in. People like us in health service earn from 36 and over per hour. And there are our weekend rates is different from our every other rate, and our public holiday rate is double the money of the public. So there is a lot of things here for you. So don't mind the distance, don't mind the uh, assessments and everything you have to go through. At the end of the day, when you come to Australia, you'll be glad that you did. Yes, you'll be glad
Right.
that you did. And yeah, they take care of themselves a lot. They have work-life balance. Nobody's going to push you to overwork yourself. Yes, you do what you can and live your best life. So that's all I can say about my life or my experience living in Australia.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it
Thank you.
for the time that you spent with us, letting us know more about Australian visas. And to all our friends here, viewers here, thanks so very much for your time. And just as she said, take your time, make sure that you do not get the wrong person, wrong agents who would, take all your money, and then at the end of the day, you don't even
Yes.
get a visa. So please take your time, do your research very well, and then you should be able to make it if you meet all the requirements that she's spoken about today.
Yeah.
So if we don't have any other question, I'll just remind you to go to her channel and check it out. subscribe. And she also has great stuff on her channel. So her channel is Niger Mom in Australia. Yes. So just
Yes.
head over there and subscribe to her channel. And don't forget to subscribe to Every Mom's Hub, this channel right here that we are having this program from. So till we meet again, take care of yourselves, and it's bye for now. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Yeah, thank you for having me. Bye, everyone.
Bye.